This video explores African culinary traditions recognized by UNESCO, why they were inscribed, when recognition took place, how the process works, and why this living heritage matters to communities across Africa and the African diaspora. The title is African Culinary Traditions Recognized by UNESCO: Why, When, and How Recognition Matters. African food heritage is not limited to ingredients or written recipes. It includes cultivation, harvesting, processing, preparation, sharing, memory, and teaching across generations. It also includes the knowledge of farmers, processors, cooks, families, and communities who keep these traditions alive. What UNESCO recognition really means. UNESCO does not simply recognize a dish as a commercial product. It does not certify one official recipe, give one country permanent ownership of a food, or prevent other people from preparing and selling it. What UNESCO recognizes is the living cultural practice surrounding the food. This may include farming knowledge, preparation techniques, specialized utensils, communal eating customs, oral traditions, celebrations, and methods of teaching younger generations. UNESCO calls this intangible cultural heritage. It is described as living heritage because communities continue to practice, adapt, and recreate it in response to migration, social change, the environment, and new generations. Recognition, therefore, concerns the people, knowledge, and practices surrounding the food, not only what appears on the plate. How a culinary tradition is nominated. Only countries that are parties to UNESCO's 2003 convention can formally submit a nomination. However, the process should begin with the communities that practice the tradition. First, the tradition must be identified and documented. It must then be included in a national inventory of intangible cultural heritage. Community members must participate in preparing the nomination and give their free, prior, and informed consent. The application must explain why the tradition is culturally important, how it is transmitted, what challenges it faces, and what safeguarding measures will support its future. UNESCO then evaluates the nomination before the Intergovernmental Committee makes a final decision. The process can take several years. A successful nomination is therefore not simply a government application. It must show that communities recognize the practice as their heritage and are involved in shaping its future. The 5 UNESCO criteria. Every nomination must satisfy 5 formal criteria. First, the practice must qualify as living intangible cultural heritage. Second, inscription must increase awareness, encourage cultural dialogue, and demonstrate human creativity. Third, practical safeguarding measures must be proposed. These may include workshops, apprenticeships, school programs, festivals, oral histories, digital archives, and support for practitioners. Fourth, communities must participate fully and provide informed consent. Fifth, the tradition must already appear in a national heritage inventory. These criteria are designed to prevent heritage from being claimed without community involvement. They also help ensure that recognition leads to real safeguarding rather than only publicity. Nsima, Malawi, 2017. Nsima, the culinary tradition of Malawi, was inscribed in 2017. Nsima is a thick maize flour preparation, but the heritage includes much more than the final food. It involves growing, drying, storing, and processing maize, preparing the flour, judging the correct texture, selecting accompanying relishes, and serving the meal communally. Eating Nsima is strongly connected to family and community life. Mealtime customs may promote cleanliness, moderation, respect, and social cohesion. Its inscription showed that heritage does not need to be rare, luxurious, or ceremonial. An everyday food can carry deep cultural meaning when it connects people through knowledge, memory, and shared practice. Nsima is safeguarded through continued preparation, family teaching, festivals, education, and community participation. Couscous, North Africa, 2020. Couscous was inscribed in 2020 through a joint nomination by Algeria, Mauritania, Morocco, and Tunisia. UNESCO recognized the knowledge, skills, and practices associated with producing and consuming couscous. The tradition may include growing cereals, grinding grain into semolina, rolling the semolina by hand, steaming it in stages, and preparing different accompaniments. There is no single couscous recipe. Preparation varies between countries, regions, families, and communities. Different versions may use vegetables, meat, fish, herbs, or local seasonings. Women have historically played an important role in transmitting preparation techniques, gestures, songs, and oral expressions. Couscous may be served during everyday family meals, religious events, weddings, festivals, and community gatherings. Its recognition demonstrated how shared heritage can connect several countries across modern national borders. Ceebu Jën, Senegal, 2021. Ceebu Jën, often known internationally as Thieboudienne, was inscribed in 2021. Its name means rice and fish in Wolof. The tradition is particularly associated with the fishing communities of St. Louis, although it is prepared throughout Senegal in many regional and family forms. Typical ingredients may include fish, broken rice, tomatoes, onions, cassava, cabbage, carrots, aubergines, and other seasonal vegetables. The heritage includes selecting ingredients, seasoning fish, controlling cooking time, arranging the communal bowl, and observing practices of hospitality and shared eating. A widely repeated oral tradition associates the dish with Penda Mbaye, a 19th century cook from St. Louis, although this story should not be treated as conclusively established historical fact. Ceebu Jën represents belonging, hospitality, and Senegalese identity. UNESCO also warned that excessive commercialization or tourism could separate the dish from the communities that created it. Attiéké, Côte d'Ivoire, 2024. Attiéké from Côte d'Ivoire was inscribed in 2024. It is made from cassava through a demanding process involving harvesting, peeling, grinding, fermentation, pressing, sieving, granulation, drying, and steaming. The process requires experience. Producers must judge moisture, fermentation, grain size, and texture, often without written measurements. Women traditionally play a leading role in processing, preserving, and selling attiéké. This knowledge can provide income, social recognition, and greater economic independence. However, UNESCO recognition does not automatically solve the challenges faced by producers. Women may still experience limited access to finance, inadequate machinery, physically demanding work, unstable prices, and competition from industrial imitations. Safeguarding must therefore protect both the cultural knowledge and the economic interests of the people who sustain the tradition. Koshary, Egypt, 2025. Koshary, from Egypt, was inscribed in 2025. The dish commonly combines rice, pasta, lentils, chickpeas, fried onions, tomato sauce, garlic, vinegar, and chili. It is prepared in homes, restaurants, and street food businesses. Koshary is affordable, widely available, and eaten by people from different social and economic backgrounds. The knowledge is transmitted through families, restaurant workers, street vendors, cooking programs, professional training, and social media. Its recognition challenges the idea that cultural heritage must be expensive, ancient, or ceremonial. An everyday urban meal can also carry practical knowledge, shared memory, social connection, and national identity. Koshary became Egypt's first UNESCO inscription, centered explicitly on a named dish. Why this heritage matters in Britain. For African communities in Britain, traditional food can be one of the strongest connections between present-day life and family histories elsewhere. Food can preserve memories of parents and grandparents, languages, ingredient names, ceremonies, and places of origin. However, migration also changes how traditions are practiced. Families may adapt recipes because ingredients are expensive, unavailable, or different in Britain. Working hours, household income, kitchen space, and health needs may also affect preparation. These adaptations do not always represent cultural loss. They can show how living heritage responds creatively to a new environment. Cooking, sharing, and teaching traditional food can help younger generations understand cultural identities connected to places and relatives they may never have visited. Evidence from the Enfield African Heritage Food Project. Between June 2025 and May 2026, the Enfield African Heritage Food Project conducted approximately 20 anonymized oral history interviews. Participants gave informed consent for their contributions to be used for public educational purposes, and the records are held by diversity rights. Contributors frequently described food as a source of memory, family identity, cultural belonging, and emotional connection. Several explained that they learned by watching parents, grandparents, and experienced cooks rather than by reading recipes. They recognized when food was ready through smell, sound, color, movement, and texture. These experiences show why oral histories and cooking demonstrations are essential. A written recipe cannot fully capture knowledge held in the hands, senses, and memories of experienced practitioners. Challenges, opportunities, and conclusion. African culinary heritage still faces significant challenges. These include weak intergenerational transmission, climate pressure on ingredients, unequal access to UNESCO nomination systems, and commercialization without fair community benefit. But there are also important opportunities. Communities can record oral histories, organize cooking workshops, create digital archives, support women-led food enterprises, and involve young people in cultural documentation. Diaspora communities can also help connect traditions across countries and generations. Hey, the recognition of Nsima, Couscous, Ceebu Jën, Attiéké, and Koshary shows that African culinary heritage is far more than food. It is knowledge, memory, identity, livelihood, and community. Safeguarding this heritage means protecting the people who cultivate, prepare, teach, and share it.